Welcome back to Brentford Fan TV, and in this video I shall be going over the Villa win, the Bournemouth win, and previewing Sunderland at the weekend, or tomorrow. And so I'll start with Villa, and, going into the game, we're a bit concerned after the Nottingham Forest defeat. We looked terrible against Forest, but we made all the changes to the starting 11 that we wanted to see. Damsgaard, Otara, Sharda, Henderson all starting, and so I'd say we were all quietly confident going in, despite Villa being a good team. And it turned out we were right to be confident because, that first half was pretty good for us. Got the goal. Thiago flicked it on for Otara, and I don't think many players score on their debut, so it just felt extra special, Otara getting that goal. He didn't take it too well the first time round, but, he got the lucky rebound, and so we take the goal. But, it was coming, we were playing better than Villa at that point, especially. So, over the moon with that. And then, of course, Damsgaard had the disallowed goal. I don't even want to go into it too much. That's how annoying it is, because it's so blatantly, obviously a goal. I'm pretty sure the goal stood, and then about 10 seconds later, the referee gave the foul, and then VAR confirmed it as not being a goal. I can't even remember. But, I don't understand it. Nathan Collins was standing still. Martinez jumps into him, doesn't get to the ball, and somehow that's a foul on Martinez. If anything, it's a foul on Collins, or Martinez should have been stronger. But, yeah. And it's also just a shame that, Damsgaard, he plays so well for us. He's by far our best player. It's like, I want him to get the goal contributions to show for it. But, I think it was a good first half. That's all there really is to say. End of the first half and the entirety of the second half, though, it was completely different. There's no denying that we did just defend for the entire second half. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'm too bothered, because we did win, we didn't concede, and, if you look at us last season at home, we scored about 50 goals at home, but we conceded nearly 50 at home, or something like that. And so, to see out a 1-0 victory at home is really, really promising. Under Thomas Frank, we conceded a lot of goals last season. And when we conceded in twos. We'd always concede 2 goals at a time. So, under Keith Andrews, that game we managed to just hold out the clean sheet and be defensively solid. And so I think we can be pretty proud of that. He managed the game well, made the right substitutions, made them in good time. And so, what? After the first home game of the season, I think a lot of Brentford fans' attitudes towards Keith Andrews have been turned around, and I think we're all pretty happy going into the Bournemouth game. And so, Bournemouth away, I was also at this game as well, so I've got some good insight. So going into the game, we made 5 changes to the starting 11 from Villa. 9 changes, which is a lot. But the team we put out still felt really strong. The players who didn't change was Van der Berg and Sharda. But, a Sharda Carvalho attack, pretty strong. Midfield, pretty strong. Defence, very strong. Especially with players coming back from injury now. We can start Ruka Henry, we can start Aaron Hickey. So it's completely different right now. And so, and also on the back 5, I think if you were to ask Keith Andrews on his preference, he'd have gone with a back 4. But I think we have to go with the back 5 just due to availability. We have a few forwards who are injured right now. We have a forward who's refusing to play for the club right now. And so, we've got a lot more availability in defence. And so the 5 at the back just meant we could get more of the right people minutes. And so we could get more people playing. It seemed to work out really well. Yet again, defensively solid. I don't know, it's just, after that Forest game that was shocking, it's so good to see us, just hold off teams' attacks, even if they're not on it. We're on it defensively. And then, we got the 2 goals. The Carvalho goal, very nice. Ruka Henry recycled the ball back into the box. Carvalho saw what Aya was going to do with headering it back across goal. And great vision from Aya, great vision from Carvalho as well, I guess, to see Aya was going to do that. And Carvalho got his goal, and it was really deserved. He played really well that game. he was even unlucky to have not got a goal earlier in the game, you know. He was sort of like on the edge of the box with some good footwork, took the ball away from some players, and on his weak foot just dragged it wide. But the keeper was rooted with that one, so he really could have had another goal. And then to make it 2-0, Thiago. I mean, I know for me, Thiago is a very controversial topic right now among Brentford fans. Some love him, some hate him. I think we can all agree he wasn't that good in pre-season. We can all agree he was terrible against Forest. A small improvement against Villa. You know, he got the flick on for the goal. But I thought Thiago, when he got subbed on against Bournemouth, was actually really good. And I couldn't fault his game. It felt like for once he actually won every aerial duel with the defender, which we haven't been seeing recently. But yeah, so many times against Bournemouth, he flicked on the ball for Atara and other players to get him behind. And then come the goal. It was an easy goal, and I'd have scored it, but he took it well, and we can't fault him for scoring a goal. And you know, it was so good when he celebrated. You know, kissing the badge. You know, it means a lot when he's kissing the badge when we have a striker refusing to play for the badge right now. So yeah, it was so good, and I feel like I could go on about this Bournemouth game all day. Like so many outstanding performances, but I can't go without talking about Frank Onyeka. And Frank Onyeka, of course, you know, went out on loan last season. Seasons before that, he just wasn't very good for us. You know, people a bit disappointed after him being, you know, one of our first Premier League signings. But I think Keith Andrews seems to have turned him into an absolutely outstanding player. Well, okay, maybe that's going too far. But Keith Andrews isn't playing well. Because when he came on against against Villa, he saw out the game well, did what he had to in midfield. And then against Bournemouth started, and he was arguably man of the match. He got a lucky assist, to be fair, for the Thiago goal. But no, that didn't take away from his, you know, he was outstanding all game, winning back the ball, travelling with the ball up the pitch. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed by Keith Andrews because he's been able to get players like Onyeka and Carvalho, Aya, you know, players who didn't get too much play time or success under Thomas Frank. Keith Andrews is really getting success out of these players, which I'm really happy and impressed with, you know, getting our money's worth finally. But yeah, I've mentioned Aya. I will talk about him quickly. He had a good game, very, very good game. He got the assist, of course. And yeah, I think I do like the back five, though, because it gives more opportunity to, you know, players like Aya who don't start when it's a back four. And he's a really good player, Aya, and he deserves the game time. Van der Berg, I thought he was really good. He was one of two players to have started against Villa and Bournemouth, and he just seemed to keep the defence tight and sound and did his job. And then, I mean, arguably another man of the match, Rico Henry. What a game he had. It was basically just prime Rico Henry from a few years ago. I thought against Forest, second half he looked decent, and he was one of our better players, but not quite prime Rico Henry. He didn't really play against Villa until later on where he got subbed on. He looked good. But against Bournemouth, he played the entire game, and he was actually really good. And so, you know, back to prime Rico Henry. I'm just over the moon with that. I mean, and I'd also like to point out, you know, across the Villa and the Bournemouth game, I thought the support from our crowd was really good, which always helps the team get over the line. And what I liked from a post-match interview with Keith Andrews after the Villa game, he said he thinks our fans are realists, which I believe we are. He said, you know, they know we're going to suffer at points. We know that we've lost a lot of big players, our captain, and so he said that he likes that we're realists and we can accept that we're not going to dominate every game, but, you know, we're going to put 100% out every game. And when you've got Thiago the Passion Merchant, we can always put 100% out every game. And yeah, I feel like it's not exactly like it, but it's like Keith Andrews' ball. It's slightly more like Thomas Frank ball when we first joined the Premier League. We're willing to, we're willing to suffer a bit in the game, but it doesn't matter because, you know, we're defensively sound again, and, you know, we score on counter-attack. We're always good off set pieces. And so I think the Keith Andrews era is going very, very well. Okay, now finally on to Sunderland away. Now, Sunderland, they started the season off very well at home with a great win against West Ham. Fortunately for them, they lost to Burnley, which I think was a surprise for a lot of people. I saw the highlights. It looked like they dominated the game, but Burnley just got the win. I think they also got a red card in that game, and also midweek they lost to Huddersfield on penalties in the Carabao Cup. So you could say they're not on form, but I mean this will be their second home game in the Premier League since their return. So the crowd's going to be up for it, and so it's not going to be an easy game at all. But I think this game, it's actually really, really important, and a lot of people don't realise, because I think this win, whichever team gets the win today or tomorrow, it's just going to be vital for them. Sunderland, that would be 6 points out of 9, or for Brentford, it'll be 6 points out of 9. That'll just put you in a great position, and Sunderland, newly promoted team, start the season off well is so important. That's what Brentford do almost every season, especially in the year where we got promoted. We started the season off well, and that's probably a large part of our success that season. But you also got to think about Brentford. So many people in the media have been doubting us. I doubted us. I thought it would be a really, really tough season. But if Keith Andrews can be 4 games in, 3 wins, 2 of those in a row in the Premier League, you know what? Yeah, no. It'll be good to see, proving the doubters, including myself, wrong. And yeah, hopefully we can push on for a great season. And so I'm going to finish off with a predicted 11 and then a score prediction. So for Brentford, the predicted 11 is Kelleher in goal. Makes sense. He'll be back after missing the Carabao Cup game. A backline of Coyote, Collins, Vanderberg, and Keane, Lewis, Potter. Now, Coyote right back, I think that's a non-negotiable. For me, he's one of our best players right now. He plays like a £60 million right back. Centre back pairing of Collins, Vanderberg makes perfect sense. They're our best 2 centre backs, and then left back Keane, Lewis, Potter, and yeah, Keane didn't play a single minute against Bournemouth, and so it makes sense that he'll be playing left back against Sunderland. Into the midfield, we've got Yarmouth, Henderson, and Damsgaard. Henderson and Damsgaard didn't play a minute against Bournemouth. Yarmouth got subbed on late. That's, in my opinion, our best midfield. That's the midfield that beat Villa at home. And so, yeah, that should be no questions asked. And then into the attack, Altara, Thiago, and Sharda. And I think there's no questions asked there. Really randomly, I just remembered a point which I actually wanted to say in the Bournemouth game, and that was the substitutions that Keith Andrews made. I thought the subs were perfect, and we can't keep comparing everything to Thomas Frank, but I am on this situation going to compare it to Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank in cup competitions, he was either over-rotated, which Keith Andrews didn't do, and also when he'd make subs, he'd be subbing on like young players with not much experience, or he'd wait too long and he'd be subbing on like all the good players with like 10 minutes to go, and then we'd concede a goal after that anyway. Not Keith Andrews though. He put out a good starting 11, and then with maybe 60 minutes gone, he started making the changes. Bringing on the starters like Thiago and Collins and Coyote, and it just helped us see out the game perfectly. And instead of trying to hold on for a 1-goal lead, it helped us get the second goal and get into the next round. And so, so far this season, apart from that Forest game, it's been, pretty positive this last week for Brentford fans and Brentford. And I'm going to finish off with a score prediction for Sunderland away. And I'm going to say 2-1 Brentford. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.